Okay, so I'd like to invite John Wright-Smith, who's our B4 Australian Power Convener for DC Systems and Power Electronics. Yeah, it does. Perfect.
Hello everyone. For those who haven't met me, I'm John Wright-Smith. I'm the convener for DC Systems and Power Electronics. I work for a manufacturer and I cover Southeast Asia. And post-COVID, the global B4 market has pretty much gone berserk. I'll give you some insight. This is a photo of me and Beneditar playing badminton doubles in Taiwan 2 months ago. Fierce competition. My Taiwan crew had a badminton crazy, and I was forced to play in 38 degrees Celsius. It was about 95% humidity and no breeze. I tried to protest against playing for health and safety issues, and I was put to shame because Beneditar had had a baby 2 weeks earlier and then wanted to get back and play, so I had to play. All right, so we cover HVDC, FACS and DC converters. Our preferred subjects are HVDC, DC distribution systems and FACS and power electronics. And in Australia and New Zealand, we've been very early adopter of both HVDC technologies, LCC and VSC. We've been using FACS devices in Australia for a long time now, more than 165 systems installed at transmission and distribution voltages. And certainly there's been a recent drive for the connection of inverter-connected renewable energy sources, and that's becoming more and more prevalent. So in terms of a technical direction, there's certainly more application of VSC, HVDC, more power electronic applications in other areas, certainly fewer LCC, and fewer FACS working groups. Some of the industry drivers which have been mentioned before are offshore renewable energy sources, increased quantity of HVDC projects and distribution applications, and now the load profile changing with hydrogen electrolyzers starting to come online. Working groups that have completed their assignments, I've got those detailed there. And the ongoing working groups, there are many ongoing working groups within the B4 group globally. Of note is that the Green Book on FACS has been published. The Green Book on Electricity Supply of the Future is published. And we have myself and Les running 2 working groups. Les has got the B490 operation and maintenance of HVDC and FACS facilities, and myself doing the stack comms at distribution voltages. Both of us had our meetings at Seagrey, Paris. And there's a new group, a new working group for the development of grid forming converters. If anyone's interested in joining this group, there's been massive interest. And the process is, if you are, send me your details, I forward it to the convener, ask their permission, and then we see what goes from there. If you contact the convener directly, they'll ignore you because of the number of people who are requesting to go on board, as you can imagine. And the Combendium is online as well. So we had a future colloquium we have in Austria, straight after Cairns. There's the Seagrey Muscat Symposium coming up, and then looking forward, we're thinking of Norway 2024, and then Israel for those who have dual passports, and India 2025 as well. In terms of the panel meetings and membership, last week we had a meeting in Brisbane for 3 days. Superb attendance. It's a very strong working group. On the Friday we went out and visited the UQ Redlands hydrogen pilot plant. If anyone wants a first-hand look at what a hydrogen electrolyser looks like and what it's going to look like in terms of the load, they do tours and they're very incredibly knowledgeable about what they're doing. They've got all the latest industry equipment. It's well worth a trip. We've got our next working group meeting will be in Cairns, a 2-day meeting, and we had 2 NGN webinars. Okay, so some of the trends in HVDC. I suppose the takeaway, apart from those, is that post-COVID, OEMs are now selective on bidding. So when you talk to any of us, we'll be selective about what we bid. We've pretty much lost all our internal resources because of the number of projects that are happening. You may well have noticed that prices have doubled. You may have noticed that lead times have doubled. And unbelievably, some of our factories have shut the door in terms of taking any new orders for the next 12 months simply to catch up with the backlog that's occurred due to post-COVID. So that's the world manufacturers live in at the moment. So there are increased applications for VSC technology. There's certainly hybrid systems coming into play. There's also a mix of STATCOM and synchronous condensers we're seeing. And there are very long distance HVDC applications being developed, Sun Cable, X-Links, etc. More global connections. And after the issues in the troubles in Russia and Ukraine, the acceleration of renewable development and independence of fossil fuels for generation is what's contributed to what's going on in the market globally now. And it's the same for facts. OEMs are selective on bidding, we don't have any resources, prices have doubled, lead times have doubled, and people that supply to us have also shut their doors in terms of taking any further orders. Some of the innovations are SVC plus grid forming inertial support, and there's a pilot going in at the moment. A move back to Syncon and flywheels, SVC retrofits, and requirement for larger and larger STATCOMs. And that concludes my presentation. Thank you.